I'm going to be brutally honest here. So you might not like everything you hear, but if you truly want to solve the situation, it's what you have to know and understand. Hey, what's up? I'm Moreno. Welcome to another video. And today we'll look at why your wife, your girlfriend, your partner says it's nothing and it's fine, even though you clearly know something's off. So we all know how frustrating that is when you're there with your partner and you know something is wrong. She's being silent, or she's giving you quick and short responses, or she's being somewhat angry and grumpy with you, and you know something is up, but you just don't know what. And every time you ask her, she's like, oh, no, it's nothing, it's fine. And it's insanely frustrating because you just want to talk it out and you just want to solve the problem so you can go back to like being intimate and nice and connected with each other again. The problem is that this can feel like talking to a wall because you just can't get it out of her. And there are actually 4 reasons why she does that. And quick disclaimer, I'm going to be brutally honest here. So you might not like everything you hear, but if you truly want to solve the situation, it's what you have to know and understand. How do I know about these reasons and about the dynamics behind it? Well, I used to be a fixer in my relationships, which meant I always looked for problems to fix. And I developed very sensitive antennas for when something was wrong or something was off. So I got a lot of these nothings and it's fines over the course of my relationships until I finally understood what was behind it. Also, in the end, I'm going to give you a very simple and effective communication technique that will solve the situation every time. So without further ado, let's get into it. Reason number 1 why she doesn't want to tell you what's wrong is because she thinks your ego can't handle it. And now we're at the brutal honesty, because I can already imagine you sitting there and being like, no, my ego is not a problem. Of course, I can handle it. She just has to tell me what's wrong. But the thing is, she gets this idea from past events. So if you had situations where she told you about something that upset her, or she asked you to do something differently, and you got defensive, you took it personally, then that tells her, oh, this just hit his ego and it caused some sort of argument, so I better not bring it up again. I've been guilty of this in the past, in my past relationships as well, and I don't want to acknowledge it, but it's there. If I'm honest with myself, I have had these behaviors for sure, and I don't blame my partner for shutting down at one point and saying, oh, I don't even want to bring that up again, because every time I do, every time I tell you to please do this and that, or every time I open up this subject, you get defensive because it triggers something in you. And the reason why I got so triggered and defensive when she pointed something out was that I thought I had to be perfect all the time, or else she would leave me, because that's what I learned as a child, that I had to perform and be perfect, and that's how people love me. So really be honest with yourself here. And think about it. Have you had any occasions where you got triggered or defensive or stressed out by what she said? Because then it's really no surprise that she doesn't want to share these things with you anymore. Because what you have to be able to do as the masculine is be able to weather her storms and deal with her emotional swings and deal with the problems and things she brings up, even if she's irrational or illogical or whatever it is. But that is your role as the masculine, to stand firm as a rock and to hold the space. And when you can't do that, she shuts down and doesn't share with you anymore what's going on inside of her. Second reason why she tells you it's nothing is that, believe it or not, but she sometimes doesn't know what's wrong either. Because sometimes you just get triggered or something happens and you feel a certain emotion. You get angry, you get disappointed, you get sad, you get jealous, you get upset, whatever it is. And you don't really know why that is. And instead of just, offloading her emotion, she wants to make sense of it herself before she's like, oh, I feel this and that way, and then gets labeled as irrational and illogical and too emotional again. I had this in one of my past relationships a lot, where she would often tell me, oh, it's nothing. I'm like, babe, I know there's something. Please just tell me. And eventually she told me, look, I I don't know what it is. I just feel it sometimes and I want to make sense of it myself. So really, in these cases, it has nothing to do with you. It's just that she needs more time to process herself. And with that, she says, hey, I don't want to offload anything that just comes up on you, but I actually want to understand it first and process it first for myself. Reason number 3, and that's very close to the one before, is that she knows what's wrong, but she still doesn't want to talk about it. And I know this seems so nonsensical sometimes, because you think, man, if we could just talk about this, let's talk it out for 10 minutes, everything's going to be fine after. You have to understand that she sometimes needs space to process stuff herself before she shares it. And you can probably relate to this from your own life. So if you've had a stressful workday and she wants to talk about it, maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you just want to sit down, regulate yourself, and then after you tell her what's up. So it's a similar situation, you know? And the funny thing is, sometimes women know their emotions take over and they're being somewhat irrational in the moment, and that a very small thing causes a very big reaction in them. So they want to give themselves the space to process and to calm down before they talk about it. And again, that's something I've talked a lot about with women, and a lot of them tell me, hey, I know I'm irrational, but I need just time to process this myself, and then, you know, I can open up to my partner. And that's why I say, oh, it's nothing, because I just want to buy myself some time. The last reason for why she says it's nothing, and this is by far the most trickiest one, is that she thinks you have to get it yourself. Because she wants you to understand her without explicit communication. She wants you to be emotionally attuned to her state, to know what's going on inside of her without having to tell you. And whether this makes sense or not doesn't matter at this point. This is just sometimes what's going on in her head. Maybe she even thinks, man, I've told him about this so many times in the past. Why doesn't he understand it? It's the same situation again. And I know it's terribly frustrating. I have said to my ex-partner so many times, I'm not a mind reader. I do not know what is going on inside your head. I do not know your thoughts. You have to tell me what's going on there, because how am I supposed to know by myself? But that's the thing. Women have this innate drive, this innate need that you understand them, that you're simply emotionally attuned to them. And sometimes, you know, if you know your partner well, if you have a lot of empathy, if you know where their triggers are, everything, you can do that. But it just doesn't happen every time. She wants to feel understood, but feel understood without having to explain. And whether this behavior is mature or not, whether it makes sense or not, it doesn't matter at this point. I'm just telling you what's going on inside her head sometimes. So now that you know why she tells you that there's nothing wrong and everything's fine, the question is, how do you crack that nut? Because you have two options. You can either say, okay, well, then it's nothing. I'll just go on about my day. And sometimes this is the best thing you can do, 100%. But you can also really try to hold a space for her, open her up, you know, make her feel safe. And that will improve your connection, improve your communication a lot. And it will also save you from sitting next to someone who says, oh, it's fine, it's nothing, for the next hours or sometimes even days. So I'll give you a very simple, very effective formula for how you can crack that nut. But the most important thing is, before you apply it, is that you create a safe space where she feels safe to open up and tell you what's actually going on. And I have another video on that. It's called 3 Communication Secrets. You can go and watch that, and I really go in depth into that topic. But let me just say this, the easiest way to create a safe space is to create a calm environment. Sit down with her, take a few deep breaths, maybe take her hand, establish some physical connection so you can regulate each other, and then you can just talk to her. So all I say in these situations is, hey, I feel like there's something that's bothering you. I would really like to do my best to listen and stay calm and support you, but I can't do that if I don't know what's wrong. You're my partner, and if you don't want to talk about it right now, or you don't know what's going on either, that's totally fine. But please just tell me that there's something wrong so I don't feel left out and I can give you what you need. And then, and that's super important, you just listen and hold the space. I don't want you to fix anything, to explain anything away, to argue, to try and make something happen. All you need to do is really just sit and hold space, be in your masculine, let her be in her feminine. And if she says, hey, I don't want to talk about that yet, that's totally fine. Then go about your day, work on your business, do whatever you want, give her the space. If she says, hey, can we talk it out? Be there, present with her. But after you said this sentence, there's nothing more you can do. If she still needs time to process that for herself, then she needs that time. If she still wants to play games or want you to figure it out by herself, that's her problem. Don't sweat it. Just go about your day, work on your business, do whatever you need to do for yourself. And if she wants to talk about it, great. Then you've just created the best space to do so. So that's really all you need to know about why she says it's nothing and it's fine, when you can clearly sense that there's something and things are not fine. So if you say, hey, cool, I understand that, but my own situation is a little more complex and my relationship is a little off and we argue a lot and there's not as much intimacy as I want and some things we just don't seem to be aligned in and I don't know what to do, don't worry. I offer premium one-on-one coaching, which you can apply for by clicking on the link below. We can schedule a quick free call where I take an in-depth look at your situation and really understand what's going on. And then I'll be able to tell you what you can do to move forward. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of these videos in the future, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, and also please consider sharing this video with someone who's going through the same struggles. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.